Who are you?
Oh,
I don't who is.
oh, is it? I got some different glasses. That's
Oh,
okay.
I
Oh,
didn't even
oh,
recognize. Oh,
it's
there you
me
go. Clark Kent turns into Superman. Got it.
every time. Hey, you know what I'd like to bring up today? But before, we always like to comment about images. What the heck? I have never seen Apathy Now.
Well, that's because that was a image I created when I was 16.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow. Pretty
We actually
popular.
got in trouble. Me and this teacher, we projected that onto the Quonset
This
hut.
teacher and I. Oh my gosh, that grammar. Seriously, you're a grown
Are you going to
adult.
start with this dangling participle stuff again?
Go ahead.
We projected this onto our Quonset hut. We had
Oh, really?
Quonset huts for classes because our school was too large, and we painted this Apathy Now. And if you can believe it, he got into trouble and almost got fired over it because they thought the school administration thought he was promoting apathy. They didn't see the irony in the
Uh,
exclamation point. So that was, yeah. Actually, John Holland was a mentor of mine for a good portion of my life until he passed away.
that's a good story behind the image right there. So I guess I should give mine too. This is Death Valley, going out of Death Valley, and I mean the wind is howling, and we're heading over to Lone Pine, to do what we normally do there. The wind is just howling, but I look out to my left and I'm like, oh crap. I've never seen that happening over there. So I had to pull the car over and make a photograph, even though my intention was to get to have lunch with you at our little Mexican place in Lone Pine. Again, that whole thing that we've talked about on the show many times, and that is paying attention and photographing. Wow. I mean, I literally said, wow, out loud. And I know enough now that that means there's a photograph. So I'm going to stop and make a photograph. But it was such a cool,
I remember that day. Boy, that was a dusty day.
yeah. Okay,
Hey,
so
so that kind of segues into what we're going to talk about. We just told the story behind the image. And if all of you will remember, we had Hal's photographs on here. Oh, I don't know, a couple
oh
months
gosh, a
ago
while
now.
ago, yeah.
And we read the short story behind each image, and there were some really powerful stories. Those combined with the images made what a powerful duo.
So just I'll put in the notes below the reference to that show because we have hundreds and hundreds of new followers.
Thousands.
I tried so hard but we do have new followers. It's if there's any show that you don't want to miss, you don't want to miss this one. So I'll put a link. Go ahead.
And so, yeah, so if you haven't seen it, please do watch it. It's important to the story.
Yes.
And so we encouraged Hal to submit to Lenswork. And I just assumed he would submit the story along
Right.
with the image, but he didn't. He just submitted the images, and Brooks did not pick it up.
Yeah.
And then we found out he didn't submit the story. And so
Right.
we're encouraging him to, boy, resubmit with the story.
Yes,
Now, I don't
absolutely.
know, maybe Brooks will still feel it's not appropriate for that publication.
Sure.
In fact, I don't know that I've ever seen any of Brooks's portfolios that he's featured with any kind of narrative. So
Well, he'll have narratives in the beginning
in the
where people will
beginning,
talk about the project, but
yeah,
generally, you're right. There's not like each image, but why wouldn't he? I mean, he's
yes,
a big promoter of
storytelling, yeah.
offering your work in different ways.
Now, over the years, I've said I name my images very simply because I don't want to tell the viewer how they should see them. But I think this is, and I've told stories behind the image, how the image was created, the facts surrounding it. But I
Yeah,
never say this is what you ought to think or feel about this
right,
image. It's up to the viewer.
right.
But with Hal's images, I think that those words
Oh,
are critical.
to me, it made all the difference. And so, our
Yes.
question today to the audience is, especially for those who have seen that body of work, what is your response? I mean, if you had received that body of work without the dialogue that he had for each one of those, would you have felt differently? Would you have, quote unquote, rejected it, if you will, right? As it's been rejected by Brooks at this moment in time. Do the words that he wrote with each of those image have an incredible impact. Were they critical to your experience? We're curious about that because I'm with Cole. I don't want to even title sometimes. I don't want to. I want the viewer to be able to decide what they feel about my images. Not. I don't want to tell them what they should feel. The one that comes to mind for you is the Ghost of Auschwitz-Birkenau, right? That you have that one image with the person in it, but you've never shared what your connection was, nor should you, in my mind, because
Right.
you
Right.
want the viewer to say, this is how I'm interpreting that. This is what I'm bringing to the act of viewing that photograph is informing me that this means this or it means this.
Oh, and the same with the melting giants, which almost universally people come away with an environmental message. And that's actually not what I was thinking in the least or feeling.
Yeah,
So
interesting.
again, the viewer brings their own vision to the image as it ought to be. And I want to remind people that I had someone once tell me that you knew an image was successful is if what you were feeling is what the
Yeah,
viewer feels. And I just, that didn't resonate with me. I thought, no, that's not right. And I still believe that's not right.
yeah, because how can it be? How can my reaction to your image be the same as yours? Because I'm a completely different person.
Yeah. Yeah.
Completely different person.
So
Okay.
what do you think about the idea of Hal resubmitting? Should he, and should he include the words?
We certainly think you should, but
Yeah.
anxious to hear what you have to say. Thanks, folks, for following along. Subscribe, like, underline, bold. No, you don't do that. What do? You subscribe on? Nobody's listening right now, anyways.
Yeah.